All right.
Hi, Ivar.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm here.
Good to see
Just
you
so
again.
you know, this is Beebe Bahrami, no?
Bahrami.
Bahrami. And we have talked before. Last time you were here, we went for a walk.
Yes.
It was raining.
Yes.
Today we were going to go for a walk.
It's raining.
It's raining. So we decided, let's go and have a coffee. So we have,
Yeah.
you don't see it, but 2 big coffees. And we went to Aras Núñez, which is in Rua de Villar, which is also a hotel upstairs. And then you have a little coffee place down here. And we thought we'll have a little chat here in the cafe.
Yeah, yeah. Like, so what's the state of the Camino from your perspective right now?
Like last week,
moment?
I did a video about like trying to sum up the year. And it's interesting. I don't know. It's concentrating. A lot of the people that come April to, what was it, September, end of September. And then it drops off really fast. Like 2 weeks, it goes from a lot to like almost no one. And I mean, it's always been like that. But it's, I guess with the numbers we have now, the dramatic change is it's a big change.
You kind of never know when it's going to happen, though. Like last year, this same time, I still couldn't get a room in San Martín de Pinario.
Yep.
Now they said, sure, the whole week is free. You know, they said something like 10% capacity. I might be misrepresenting that, but it's suddenly just dropped.
Huh.
And so you just
Do you
never
think the
know.
weather has something to do with it?
It might.
Because this year, at least in the fall, the drop coincided with the bad weather coming.
Yeah.
Because we had amazing weather in September. It was busy. I don't know.
I think that has something to do with it. I also think it's only anecdotal, so I can't say exactly, but I feel like in the last 2-3 years, more places that used to stay open until the end of November are closing at the end of October. I think they're just saying enough. You know, I made enough. I don't need to.
Yeah.
And there are so few people coming. Maybe they just, and so other people who would be on the road say, oh, well, there's nothing really open. It's at 60% now.
Do you think I have a feeling it's the case that not all the places in towns close. As long as there are enough people for like one place to stay open, that place will be open. So people that want to walk in the winter, they should be able to find places, I'm thinking.
Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise, I don't know what to tell you about 25. It's been crazy. Especially, I mean, I've been talking about this on my other videos too, especially online with the AI coming in and all of that. It changed everything.
Yeah.
What's going on the internet? I don't know. Of course, it hasn't changed so much what's going on the Camino, but for me, it changes things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just finished, or you have walked the Portuguese now.
This 2025 has been a big year Camino-wise for me because I just finished all the update work for the 3rd edition of the Camino Francés and Finisterre and Muxia guidebook, the Moon Camino de Santiago. And that is now, it's gone to press, you know, it's going to be released in February.
Very good.
So that was a lot of work because there have been a lot of changes, especially I would say price-wise and accommodation-wise and what's open, what that costs, who's still open, who's closing. There's a lot more information too. I found some more new archaeology and some culinary stuff.
So because you are one of the few that adds in your book like a lot of other information that doesn't appear.
There's so much too. So there's always something to discover. So I fold that in. So that is done. And that was the effort of really the last 2 years, and then finally this spring the final push. And then Moon came to me and said, would you create another guidebook, this one on the Camino Portuguese? And of course I had to say yes, in the same kind of spirit of the idea of the Camino de Santiago guidebook that's already out there. And so as soon as I delivered all the updates, I dove right into starting walking the Camino Portuguese in the spring and then again right now. So it's been about 4 months maybe on the road, and then a lot more time just really sinking into the material, including going into the archaeology and the prehistory, because I love that.
There's a lot of that in Portugal too.
There is a lot of it. There's a lot. I mean, it was raining, but a few days ago, I was just outside of Vila Villanova da Praia, no, Villa Praia da Ancora. Villa Praia da Ancora.
Yeah.
And it's just like a 200-meter detour off the Camino, and it's a more than 5,000-year-old dolmen, or standing stone megalithic structure, one of the best intact I've ever seen, with all the lining stones leading up, and then 8 vertical stones, and then the capstone. And it started to rain right as I got there, and so I just walked right under it and stood sheltered, and I thought, I can't believe that I'm allowed to take shelter in the rain in this amazing, Neolithic monument just out there in the park.
Yeah.
And stuff like that it was just one of the highlights, I would say.
Good.
So it's a pretty cool.
And I think that's
cool
one of the
Camino.
things that your guidebooks have that the other ones don't have, things like that. So it is true.
Well, thank
people
you.
say maybe it's a little bit heavier than the other ones, but you get so much more stuff in
Yeah. And there is the electronic version. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Thank
Good.
you. Yeah. But it was interesting. It is very different from the Camino Frances in a lot of ways. I mean, they're both historic routes. The Camino Frances has a lot more history, has a lot more precedent, but they're very different at the same time. Just the terrain is very different. There's not always the same camaraderie amongst pilgrims.
I'm hearing that
You
too.
can find it, but it's almost like you have to make more of an effort. Where on the Frances, it's almost like you have to make an effort to extract yourself if you need a little bit of solitude.
I talk to people that have walked the Frances, they love it, they could do the Portuguese, and it's just like, how was it? It was different, So, yeah. So, because I guess
there is a lot of kindness and generosity on the Portuguese
the Portuguese
as well.
people are just amazing.
My God, they're
very
so
friendly.
Nice. Very.
They speak pretty good English usually.
They do, or French, or they tolerate my Portuguese, and seem
You speak
to.
Portuguese?
I read and I understand it pretty well, because I speak French and Spanish.
Yeah.
Not that necessarily
No, but if you
helps,
speak
because it's a
Spanish,
very
you
different.
can kind of get the reading. But I
it
can read it
helps.
too, but I can't.
Yeah, but there are words that you would think would translate, and no, the Portuguese have their own words for all kinds of things, including train is comboio. It's not anything like
No,
you.
it doesn't make sense.
It's not un tren, But it's, but they still, my speaking is getting better because of the kindness and patience of the Portuguese.
Yeah, that's true.
But and it was forced into it, because there are places in Portugal still where some remote villages people only speak Portuguese.
Yeah.
And so that's when I found myself really learning. But it's like the older generation speaks French and the younger generation speaks English. And they are very multilingual.
Yeah,
as a
that's true.
general rule.
That's true.
Yeah.
So in preparation for this new book, you walked all the way from Lisbon, did you? All the way from Lisbon, and then you walked the various variations after that?
My strategy was pretty non-linear at first, because the Portuguese has so many tributaries. I mean, I think of it like the Nile Delta.
Yeah.
It's like one solid river, and then all of a sudden it branches out.
Yeah.
And most people start in Porto. So this spring, I was already in Santiago, finishing the guidebook update work for the 3rd edition of Un Camino de Santiago. So I just thought, okay, why don't I just start walking south? And that's a great way to really get to know a trail, is by going against the grain. So I walked from Santiago on the central route to Porto and followed the blue arrows to Fatima.
Was that difficult to find? Because there's not so many blue arrows as yellow arrows.
It was, some communities marked better than others in both directions, some only in one, some vaguely in both. I mean, that's one of the things about the Portuguese route, is it's not consistently well marked. And it still feels like it's an experiment. Like people are still kind of going, well, do we really want it to pass there? Or,
That's why
it feels like a work in progress.
Yeah.
So it was challenging, but it got me to talking to a lot more locals, and then I would get their take on the Camino, and they would tell me where they were pretty sure it went, and then I'd hear their stories, and I'd learn about their locality. And then when I got to Porto, I was so happy to then say, okay, now I'm going to go back to Santiago. And this time I went mostly the coastal. And I sometimes wove back and forth because there's that option. And then this time in the autumn, I went all the way to Lisbon and began there and made my way to Porto. And then once I was in Porto, I started doing the weaving back and forth between the central and the coastal to fill in any blanks that I might have missed in the spring. And then instead of, in the spring, I went to Camino and I crossed with the ferry, the taxi boat to Aguarda.
Yeah.
I went to see Santa Trega, which is an amazing Castro site, over 2,000.
There are several Castros along the Galician coast as
There are a lot, and the Portuguese coast too, which will be in the guidebook.
Good. I know of one that is close to Noia. It's not really on the Camino, but it's just west of
Castro de Baronha. Oh my God, that is.
Have you been there?
I have been there twice. It is magical.
It's you go there and it's like you're just transformed back into. You could just see like I could live here.
you kind of know why people did live there. It has a very good energy. Yeah. So I crossed to Aguarda and continued to Santiago on that coastal route in the spring, and then this time. From the Portuguese perspective, when they talk about the coastal route, it doesn't stop in Camino and then cross over to Aguarda. For the Portuguese, the official coastal route continues upriver up the Minho to Valença. And so this time in Camino, I then went upriver.
To Valença. I talked to someone that said that they really they have prepared the walk up to Valença, like some boardwalks or something.
You have two options, which is the other thing about the Camino Portuguese, especially the coastal, is there's always more than one option. There is the littoral and then the kind of the official. And when you're at the river, there's like it's a bike path, mostly footpath and boardwalk that goes all the way along the Minho River, right along the bank. And it has less services, it's wilder. Or you can stay on the kind of more traditional official one that goes through all the little villages, and there's a lot more up and down. And
Wow. Yeah, I can see that there's a lot of work going into making a guidebook on that walk, because it's back and forth.
I mean, officially the Camino Portuguese is only around 610 kilometers, but it's around 1,100 kilometers to cover it. Entirely. And that's not counting, if you wanted to go to Braga instead, or if you wanted to make a detour to Fatima. Which you can,
Good. So how did you find the Camino this time? You walked it, although you did research. Did you find this year the Portuguese has been very, very busy? Did you talk to people that are owners of places along the way that I guess they were happy with having so many pilgrims? Maybe they were just tired, or did you have any feedback from people along the route?
I mean, this spring especially, it was very busy because I was walking in May into June, and that's really kind of peak. And people just are really appreciative of the fact that it's become so popular, and there's so much, especially on the central route, I think. The coastal, I think they're happy to have pilgrims, but the coastal route is also a string of resort towns that will always have visitors and always get the tourist dollar.
And maybe you'll feel less of the pilgrim community when you walk through so busy touristy towns, maybe?
Yes and no. It's funny because it's like it's almost more like a party, so even the locals make it more like a party. Like, hey, I have a stamp, which is not a sello, by the way. It's a carimbo. There's another one of those words. Carimbo. That's sello. Is your pilgrim stamp. It's so, again, one of these words that's just, Spanish is not going to help you.
Well, this is true. Maybe if you go through very touristy towns, maybe the pilgrims kind of stick together to not blend so much in with the other people. Yeah, that's true.
But on the central route, they're very proud of the history. I mean, the historic foundations of the Camino Portuguese really go back to the pilgrimage of Saint Queen Isabel, who lived in the 13th and 14th centuries. And she made two pilgrimages to Santiago in 1325 and then again in 1335. And she was, I believe, based in Coimbra, but she may have begun the pilgrimage from Lisbon. And it was all the central route. So via Coimbra and then Porto and then São Pedro de Rache, which is just after Porto, is its own pilgrimage destination and a really important medieval site. So she would have definitely gone there. And then up into Barcelinhos and Barcelos and Ponte de Lima. I mean, these are all super historic sites. and people are very proud of it, and it's something to be proud of. It's a really neat experience to go into these ancient towns with this medieval legacy, but they're all also Roman. And you're following an old Roman road, and there are times where it just appears, and you're just walking on it for a few hundred meters visibly.
Are those the cobblestones? Because that's one of the complaints I have with
Those
Portuguese,
are
the cobblestones.
Everywhere, the little the cobblestones that are like, 2 by 2 inches, and everywhere is paved with them.
People's
but
feet
the Roman ones are big pavement stones.
Oh, okay.
And they've been really worn, and they're also kind of hard to walk on. They become the natural stream bed when it rains. Just all the water drains down
and
the Camino.
And it cleans it out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not easy walking. It's a lot of up and down too. There's no kind of, the Camino Frances is defined by mountains, hills, meseta, mountains, hills, and the Camino Portuguese, from Lisbon to about Coimbra is very, very level, and then you start getting into hills, and then it's just up and down, up and down, up and down. One big mountain, up and down, down, up and down.
If you're sitting at home thinking maybe doing the Portuguese next year, what would you say would be the difference between the coastal and the central? What would be best if you're looking for flatter? Is it coastal? What would be like this is good for this kind of people that want this, and the other one is good for people that are looking for more something else?
Yeah. I think, if you start in Lisbon, you're going to have many, many days of just level, almost sea level walking. There are a few challenging climbs, but not many. And that can be really good for people who want to just build up. But if you don't want to start that far away,
you're going to be alone, probably.
You're going to be,
So if you're looking for alone time, maybe
3,000, 4,000 people a year walk from Lisbon.
Yeah.
And it's well over 100,000 walk from Porto or beyond, like Valence or Tui. But it's still, I think you can mix it up, because like the coastal route has a lot that's very appealing, and it is more level. It is basically almost sea level walking. And but if you really wanted to sort of enjoy the ocean but have more of a historic experience, you could leave Porto on the Senda Litoral, the most coastal route, the littoral route. Which is
where you
prettiest.
go underneath the bridge and you go out along the river,
just follow
out
the
to
river.
the coast, right? And then turn right up.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's the most appealing, because the official coastal, excuse me, and the central route, they share a few kilometers leaving Porto, and it's very urban walking. And then the official coastal goes past the airport, and it's warehouses, and it's very unappealing. So I would say, but you could walk. Excuse me. You could walk to Vila do Conde, which is 33 kilometers outside of Porto. Take the Senda Litoral all the way there, and then once you're there, there is a bridging path to São Pedro de Roche that'll take you back to the central.
Okay. Good. Yeah, because there's people. These are the kinds of information that people are looking for. I'm not in that good shape, or I don't like hills, or my knees hurt, so I can't do much hills. Which one is?
I think that's a good question, and I think the advantage of the Portuguese route is you can just decide every day, because the central and the coastal routes are not that far away from each other, and there are either bridging footpaths. Not all of them I recommend, because they're not well marked, or they're just through really unappealing stretches. But they're also, locals they have buses, because locals live in one place and work in the other. So there are buses connecting the two. So you can wake up in the morning and say, it's raining, or my knees hurt. I think I'm going to do the coastal, or I'm going to jump onto the central. It's very different in that regard from the Frances, where you're committed.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Good. It's really pouring down.
Has it been a really busy season from your perspective?
It's been busy, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been more or less the same, a little bit more maybe than last year. I've started doing new things that I didn't do last year, like we're starting doing some luggage stuff that we didn't do as much of last year.
Yeah.
Which means Iria, which works with me, she has done this summer. She's only been dealing with suitcases and luggage. That's been kind of her job.
Yeah.
And I have been doing greeting pilgrims coming in and then shipping out books and stuff. That's been kind of my job.
Yeah.
And so it's been continuous. So I understand why the people that work at albergues and hostels, they just close down. I wish I could close down, but I can't because people keep sending me suitcases.
Yeah.
We're going to take a week off or almost 14 days actually during Christmas. So that's going to be good to get a break.
You need to have a rest too.
Yeah. But it's it's difficult though.
It is.
Sometimes if I explain my day to people, what I do, and people are, well, it doesn't seem like it's too bad. It's like, no, it's not too bad. The thing is that the grind makes it tiring. It's just every day, all the time. People wanting to pick up suitcases on Sunday mornings because they have a flight.
Yeah.
It's just all the time,
It's just like being an hospitalero.
A little bit.
Yeah. You just don't know when somebody's going to come through the door and what their need is.
And sometimes I can be helpful and I can help people with things like that come up. And sometimes I just can't.
Yeah.
And we just have to. Sometimes I visit my father-in-law, which is up in northern Lugo. I'm not even here, and Iria is probably gone too. And then we just say, well, I can't, but I could ship it to you if you want. So but always find a solution for it. But it's I feel bad about it because I should. Yeah. But I can't work 24/7.
You can't. I mean, that is definitely. You had asked earlier how are people just handling, and energy-wise and the demand-wise. And I was 2 weeks walking on the Camino Frances this autumn too, and I was, especially in the autumn, you start feeling and seeing and people were still keeping their spirits up, but they were also just saying, I'm getting to the point where I am just going to shut down because I need to be able to go to the restroom without being interrupted, or sit down to my dinner and then suddenly have to jump up to a ringing bell or a phone or an email.
When you walked the Frances, did you get a feeling it was less crowded this year than last year? I haven't looked at the numbers. I have a feeling that before Saria this year was a down year on the Frances. I'm not sure.
I didn't feel it was any busier or less so. And definitely by Saria, it was just, sometimes it was just shoulder to shoulder, it felt on the trail,
that's
even
a different
in October.
story. Because I asked people if it was difficult to find places to sleep and things like that.
Yeah.
No, on the Frances this year was great. Of course, before Saria. After Saria is a different story.
Right.
But before Saria, there were people that didn't reserve, that just walked, like in the old times.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what the numbers are.
Yeah. And then also on the Norte, people were also saying it was very quiet. And I'm wondering if it has something to do with the fact that the Norte is on a lot of touristy towns in the summer. So there's a lot of tourists. It's difficult to find places to sleep maybe, so people are discouraged from walking. I don't know, because people were booking, but there were few pilgrims. I'm like, okay, that's kind of strange, but yes. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And then looking at the numbers from the Pilgrim's office with the Compostelas, there's a lot more Chinese this year. There's more Chinese than French, for example.
Interesting.
There's more Chinese. Yeah, I looked at the numbers this year. The Chinese it's 2,000 something. I think 2,000 some hundred.
Actually, I wonder if somebody wrote a bestseller memoir of the Camino.
I don't know. I know there is a Pilgrim Association in China. I don't know if they've done something special or. I don't know.
Because I mean, there's always been many South Koreans on the Camino. It's been very popular. And I still met a lot of South Koreans. A few Chinese, so that's interesting.
And less French and less Italians.
Interesting. I met a few Italians and French on the Portuguese, so maybe they like a lot of, like, I've heard from a lot of people from the U.S. and Canada, they're shifting over to the Portuguese because they think it's less popular, less
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
So it's getting there.
Yeah.
Especially, well, this May and June, it was very, very busy.
Yeah.
Not so much this October and November.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what next year brings. But
Yeah. And then we have a Holy Year coming.
and then Holy Year 27.
Yeah. So that's, maybe everyone's saving up there.
I don't know. It's going to be busy. But I don't feel, every year I'm thinking there's a new record. This there was a time
Yeah.
10 years ago when I was thinking, oh, it's going to become so many pilgrims that their experience are going to be not a good one, and people are going to say the reputation of the Camino would go down. But so far I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah.
Especially because the only people that complain are the ones that have walked many years ago when it was different.
Yes.
And they compare it to that, and then they say, I don't like it because it used to be better. But the people that have never walked, they don't know anything about it. This is the first year.
Yes.
They love it
Yes.
because they have nothing to compare it to.
Yeah, and you have to be careful with comparisons. 'Cause, I mean, I've been walking the Camino for 30 years, and there are ways that it's changed. I can't say I'm complaining that there are now more support services, and warmer dorm rooms.
Yeah.
There's hot water in the showers.
Our
in more
body gets
places.
older, and
I'm
sometimes.
kind of okay with that.
Yes, I hear from people that come in and they say, I used to be the one that complained about the transfer service, so now I'm old, I have a bad back. Now I'm become one of them.
We have to be careful. We might become one of them.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But I also think, because people do ask me, is the Camino lost? Is it ever going to be what it was once before? And I was thinking, the Camino has always been many things. And if you read the medieval Codex Calixtinus, the Pilgrims, Book 5, the Pilgrim's Guide, you find the author there was just snarky about all kinds of bad things happening on the Camino, and I think it's always been like that. But if what you want is this deeply powerful, transformative walk, sometimes in solitude, sometimes in community, it's up to you to find that and create that. I mean, and if you find yourself on a day you want solitude and you're just surrounded by a sea of people, then stop and sit on a rock and let them pass, and then start walking when it, So we can play a role in creating that experience.
That's true. Yeah.
And we've talked about this before too. I think it's important to say again that we can also give back to the Camino, and we can help the Camino. When we see somebody working really hard and spread thin, we can help them. We can say, what can I do?
Yeah.
And it goes a long way. Or pick up trash on the Camino, or volunteer, become a hospitalero, hospitalera, and take a 2-week rest.
Exactly.
Rest.
And you can still, it's a different kind of being tired.
It's still a pilgrimage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. All right, so your French book is coming out in a new edition.
It is.
February.
The third edition will be released in February.
That's good.
Next
and the
year.
Portuguese
It
guide?
will follow a year from then. So the new
the
Portuguese guidebook will come out in February 2027.
So just before the whole year
I've just finished
rush.
the on-the-ground research and footwork. Now I'm going to write it.
All right. Good. Anything else you wanted to mention before we finish up?
I think it's just always a pleasure seeing you and speaking with you.
Same
It's
here.
one of the highlights of walking into Santiago.
Oh, thank you.
I would love to, maybe we should make this a tradition, rainy
should.
day, November chats.
We should. We should plan for a walk around town talking, and then we cancel it, and this
Sit
is
here.
actually a nice place to do a little video.
It is.
I haven't been here. I have been here before, but not with a recording. So, hopefully the sound of the rain doesn't annoy people. Anyway, thank you for coming by.
Thank you very much,
And
Ivar.
I'll put a link below to Beebe's guidebooks, the French one that I have on the store. And then once you have
On the Way of the Wild Goose, maybe that would
The Wild
the
Goose?
memoir on the Camino.
Yes.
Yeah.
You talked
Read The Way of the Wild Goose.
talk shortly about that. What's that about?
Yeah, it's my really you could say my love letter to the Camino. It's the memoir I wrote about my experiences on the Camino, centered on this mystery that kept appearing on the Camino, especially with some European pilgrims that I would meet, and they would be following a more esoteric Camino, and they'd be following signs. And when I asked them what signs, they'd talk about the footprint of the goose or the image of the goose. And I was just at first thinking, that makes no sense. But then it kept coming up, and I started investigating it. And then I walked one pilgrimage saying, I'm just going to look for signs of the goose. And I started finding them, and I wound up walking 3 pilgrimages, 1 in France and 2 in Spain. And the evidence just kept piling up of engraved footprints, of folk stories, of archaeological pieces that fell into place, of local legends, about these goose-footed goddesses at the springs that there are now chapels dedicated to Mary at them. And I just started realizing this is something older and more ancient, that remnants of it have survived.
Yeah.
And I really went on a wild goose chase and pulled all the material together, but wrote about it like, a travel memoir in 3 separate pilgrimages that weave into this final answer of what the hell is a goose.
But it's one book though, right? It's one book.
It's one book,
With
yeah.
Three walks.
Very much. And if people know the Game of the Goose, which here they sell the Game of the Goose for the Camino de Santiago.
I've seen that.
It's this 63 square spiral game like Snakes and Ladders with dice you throw, and you move your game piece on these squares. 13 of them have geese on them, and those are lucky squares.
Okay.
So that's a piece of this.
I
mean, it's everywhere. Stories of Mother Goose, tales of Mother Goose, those are also play into, it's all connected. And it all connects, and in kind of like the Game of the Goose, there's 63 chapters, and it explores this through 3 pilgrimages, very much as a travel narrative.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm going to get the book on the store. I haven't got it yet, but you can search for it. What's the Wild Goose?
The Way of the Wild Goose.
The Way of the Wild Goose.
3 pilgrimages on the Camino
Very
de
good.
Santiago.
Search for it, and then soon I'll get it on the store as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Beebe.
Thank you.
Okay.
This is fun.
Bye-bye.